Hey everybody, welcome back to Matter of Facts Podcast. Today we're going to do a real quick video, just a little unboxing of Streamlight Protac2. Got a little weapon light to go on my AK. It's my primary home defense firearm, or at least it's the rifle in the home defense equation. And one of the things I'm a big believer in is having lights on your firearms. There's plenty to be said about having an independent light or not want to muzzle somebody, but I like having lights on the weapons. We'll get into that a little bit later, later topic about why that's my preference. But I'm going to go ahead and unbox this, show you all what comes in the box, even though everybody else already has. I'm just now getting into this. And I may or may not really quickly show how to put it on. You'll be able to figure it out yourselves. But I mean, I can at least show you how I've mounted it on my AK. And after I get a chance to run it through some drills and do some nighttime practicing with it as far as clearing around the house, and I figure out how I like the way it's set up, I might revisit this topic and talk to you about where I moved it or how I ended up changing it. I never know. I don't usually do unboxing videos. I like to beat the hell out of something and then show y'all what I finally decided to do or what I eventually settled on. In this case, since I want to keep some content moving and keep y'all coming back to me to watch, is I'm going to go ahead and do a quick unboxing, put this on the rifle, and we'll have to readdress this at a later date as far as did this stay put, did I change it, what I decided to do. But let me flip the camera around, I'll show you all this. Might show it to y'all going on the gun, might show you when it's done, just depends on how long it is. I want this to be short. Alright, now, packaging off on the side. The business end of this is a fairly well-constructed aluminum bodied light. And the included tail cap is just a simple push button. This has what's been referred to as, I think, 10-tap technology. Basically, you bang his switch so many times, and then it puts into a mode where you can program what the primary and secondary features are. I'm going to set this to where it comes on high every single time because I don't, frankly, like this goofy little strobe feature, and the low intensity option for me on a rifle light is kind of useless. I'd rather, every time I hit this, it comes on full blast every single time. This does come with an integrated Picatinny mount, which I'm going to use initially. I might discard in favor of something from Airsoka or maybe another light mount in the future, depending on how this works out. I mean, I've got a little bit of a lip on this Magpul fore-end I've got to get over, so I don't know how close I can get before I have to shave this down. I'm not sure if I want to go to a different mount that offsets this further up. I don't want to get anywhere close to being in the way of this Bushnell TRS-25. I kind of want this right here along the side where my normal grip, which is to position the forward edge of this AFG right between my my ring and my social finger. That way I'll drop my thumb about right here, and that's where I want the tail cap switch to line up so that my normal grip puts my thumb right on that tail cap, and I can either engage it when I need it or push it on for constant on. I don't think I'm going to use the tape switch, and this is kind of one of the issues of mounting this on an AK. On an AR, it's very common to put the tape switch up on a top rail, but this is the gas tube of this rifle, and this is going to get hot as hell. So you don't want to put anything up here that can't deal with that heat, including your hand or your thumb to hit a tape switch. So I think if you were intent on using a tape switch on this type of rifle, and there is one included in the packaging, which seems like a pretty nicely built little unit, but in my case I think I'm going to discard it, or not discard but not use it at all, and I'm just going to mount right here on the side, use the provided tail cap. If you wanted to go another way, I'd honestly recommend mounting it on the opposite side and put the tape switch underneath your thumb. You do have a nice big old pressure pad right here, and you have a smaller button where you can engage the constant on feature if you desire. I might not use that, we'll just have to see. And I'm going to mount this on with a short piece of M-Log rail just right here along the side, and mount this to the top, and we'll come back in just a second when I have all this actually in place. Alright, and that's it. I didn't think anybody wanted to see me fumbling around with trying to get a piece of M-Log rail, you know, get these goofy little things the perfect tension so they snap in here. So I did that off camera. Now, as far as attaching this, you simply loosen up this big gigantic thumb screw, which you should be able to do on the fly if you ever need to pull this off for some reason. Clamp it on there about where you want it, and like I was talking about earlier, there's a little nub on the bottom of this AFG. I like to stick that right here between my pointer finger and my social finger. That way I index to the same spot on the rifle every single time. I think I actually got this a little bit further back than I intended, because what I really want is for my thumb to just land straight on that tail cap as soon as I get on there, which is right there. Now you can see my thumb comes up and it can either hit the side of this rifle and have a nice comfortable little spot. It can actually lean up against this hemlock rail. It's not going to bother me a bit. And then there is the tail cap for this light. And I'm going to get a little bit of video later on tonight when the light goes out of exactly how bright this thing is. I'll take it back off the rifle and pop it up and down the street so y'all can see. Maybe burn into a bright room with, or a dark room with this so y'all can see how bright it is. But it's 625 lumens is what it's rated for. I can tell you that I have a Surefire X300 in the other room, which I'll do a side-by-side comparison so you can see, but they honestly are about as bright as each other. I mean, the difference to me between 500 and 600 lumens is kind of, you know, internet bragging rights, but it's bright enough to burn retinas if you need to disorient somebody. It's plenty bright enough to be able to see a target a decent ways away. So, I don't know. I live at the end of a cul-de-sac. There's about 4 houses. There's 3 houses between me and the stoplight. We'll see how far this thing can reach tonight, and then I'll conclude this. I'm going to keep it nice and short. This is where it's going to mount for the time being. I'm honestly not super excited about the fact that this is poking out so far away from the rail. I wish this was a little closer. I might look at another rail mount in the future. But for the moment, this works. And I already had the rail, and the light, I think, was the best part of like $105 plus shipping on Amazon. Very affordable. There will be a link in the show description. And I'll wrap this up. I'm not going to keep everybody all night for a simple unboxing. When I get some time to really put this through its paces and beat the hell out of it, I'll let y'all know if it holds up or not. If it doesn't, it's going to go in the trash, and I'm going to go get a Surefire. Because I've bought Surefires for a lot of years, and they work great. I'm going to give Streamlight a chance because I've heard good things about them. I want to believe good things, but I gotta beat the crap out of it before I know if I can trust this on a home defense firearm. And I'll let y'all know what I decide. But matter of fact, podcasts, every other week, you can listen to the audio podcast. Please hit the affiliate links. It helps us out a lot with funding the show. Check us out on YouTube. Check us out on Facebook. We'll see y'all next time. Alright guys, it's best part of 8 o'clock at night. I've got the light off my rifle so that I'm not scaring the hell out of the neighbors, but I thought we'd step outside now that it's just starting to get dark enough to actually make a good showing of this. I get the flash turned off, that way I can show y'all exactly what this looks like at range. Now, bear in mind, I live at the end of a cul-de-sac, so there's 3 houses between me and the end of the street, and that is the stoplight completely lit up where you couldn't see it a moment ago. This is at a little bit closer range. This is my neighbor's truck. Bright as hell, nice big bright hot spot. You can see it in the yard, you can see it on the front of my house. If we're trying to do something at say under 50 yards where we need to be able to see our targets, this little weapon light certainly fits the bill. Now you can see this is not exactly pitch black out here, but even in this case, popping that light on and you can see anything on earth you're trying to see with it. So, if anybody's looking for a good affordable weapon light around the $100 range, Protac2, that's where I'm going to give my recommendation for the time being. Let me go whip on this thing for a couple of weeks and I'll let y'all know what I think after I've had a chance to work with it a bit.